welcome to Alley Chats. Today I have two guests, so this is something different. I have Colin Kyle and Cameron Kyle with me. I got that right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, good. You never know. There's a lot of Kyles in there. You could have screwed something up. And guys, I've got you on today. You are game designers. Cameron, you're an art director and designer.
Yes, sir.
I want to hear first of all about you. Let's go one at a time. Just kind of tell me about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Cameron Kyle. I'm the older brother of the Wrong Brothers in Wrong Brothers Gaming, only by basically a year and a half, 2 years. And I started doing art when I was really young to actually deal with a dyslexia diagnosis. When I was in the first grade, they put me in remedial classes, but I excelled at art stuff. And they found out my grades improved when I started using a computer. And this is like way back in the Apple IIe, Mac in a box days. And that's when I started making digital art because I would be doing homework and I wouldn't want to do that. So I'd pull up like the little Mac paint programs and make maps for our D&D games when I was a kid. So that was like the first game art I ever did. And we printed it out on like a dot matrix printer and pulled the little edges off of it. It was so much fun.
So what about
Incredible.
you, Colin?
Excellent. Yes, I am Colin. I am the younger of the Wrong Brothers, and Cameron is the artist side, and I am kind of the science side, though I do a little bit of art, and he does a little bit of science too, quite a bit actually, which goes into a lot of art. And but yeah, so I have a background in ecology and evolution, got into gaming with Cameron as a kid, and I did a lot of weird programming and a lot of like ecological modeling. And so I have a lot of strong feels about the environment and climate change. And so we brought a lot of that stuff into Axon Punk, thinking about the ecology of the megacities. And it really just kind of makes me geek out hard about, you know, what kind of urban ecology we've got in 2085. And so, and playing with dice. And so we do a lot of playing off of each other for game design, for ideas, and doing the math that is the back end of this imaginary math machine that is a tabletop game. And, but yeah, so I do a lot of weird things, but I love math and I love writing and I love game design. And I really am grateful to be able to work with my brother in this whole process.
Oh, me too.
So tell me about the game. You guys have this game, Axon Punk. First of all, is this the only game that you guys have put out? Second of all, let's talk about the one that you have right now in Kickstarter. And describe the game. Let's hear what the game's about.
Great.
Yeah.
So the Axon Punk game that we're putting out right now is our second edition of Axon Punk. Axon Punk was originally our very first game that Colin proposed that we make together as an actual endeavor to put out to people. We have created 4 different games in different series of productions at this time that you can see actually on our website. But Axon Punk is the one that we have an active Kickstarter at the moment. So the other games that we have to represent is a really cool solar punk, gene punk game called Project Violatia. And that is another game that we're doing together with the Sugar Gamers, and it is definitely more of their narrative tale. They started it before we were even part of the Sugar Gamers, and we're bringing our own flavor to that, giving rules to their game because it was originally a video game. And it's a tabletop board game that you can find on the Sugar Gamers website called Project Violatia. We also did Breaking Spirals, which is a one-page mental health game that is a simple patient-to-patient game where that is like a Ouija board for your brain. It can help you find balance in a traumatic situation or a mild panic attack, just something to kind of Band-Aid you so you can get to a point where you can get help. So that's actually available in the level 1 free RPG day indie RPG anthology. So if you guys got that on the free RPG day, you can see Breaking Spirals from our level 1. And then our newest game that we have not kickstarted yet and is still in production is called Souls of the Gulf, which is a 90s modern rural fantasy set in Texas and Louisiana and Oklahoma. It has spell slinging fun, and it is just as free and as open as Axon Punk is, but it is set in 90s. In Texas, it is very rural. You play animates, which are magical creatures. Some are demons, some are angels. They're all here to make deals and kind of experience a dark comedy similar to Call of Cthulhu meets King of the Hill. So that is the 4 games that we have in our lineup. But kickstarting now is our Axon Punk 2.0 expanded, newest edition of that one, and I will hand that over to Colin.
Yeah, absolutely. We have quite a few irons in the fire, and we're using this new edition of Axon Punk to kind of launch ourselves and stabilize ourselves for a lot of these new exciting projects, because Axon Punk, as Cameron mentioned, was our first game. We started it as I was finishing up grad school, going through a bunch of hard times. I'd write Axon Punk in the morning and gear up, get some happy chemicals for writing my dissertation for the rest of the day. But Axon Punk specifically is a hip hop inspired cyberpunk tabletop role playing game. And it's a very welcoming game to new players. It's got a lot of great open-ended rules where you got to make things up and run with it. You're playing in the dystopian megacities of 2085 that are filled with people and music and pain, but also joy and hope. And it's really focused on community building and bringing people together in tough times. And music and food are really, really important things that help people get through stuff. And so we wanted to take a lot of the things we've seen through human history and pull them together in this wonderful music and cyberpunk setting that connects so closely to a lot of things we really care about. So check it out. Even if you're brand new to role-playing games, have never played before, it's got a great range to it. And that we have kids playing it all the way up to seasoned, old, grizzled cyberpunk heads. And it's really flexible and fun. And so we've got great levels. We've got a box set. I absolutely love it. And now we're doing it bigger and better than ever. Full color, gorgeous art, print on demand. And just it's just so exciting. So please help it. It's a passion project full of love and tears and pain that Cameron and I have both put into this. But we also have an incredible team. Cameron mentioned the Sugar Gamers. They are a primarily female Southside Chicago, primarily Black gaming organization that has lasted for the last 11 years and has helped us play test Axon Punk, how to do it well, how to get that awesome cyberpunk hip hop flavor in there and do it well. And how do you do it? You do it with a team. And that's really the lesson we've taken with Axon Punk. And so we've got a great team of a dozen people at this point now. And so Cameron and I are kind of taking the lead on this stuff, but it's a total team effort. And so every dollar and every share you put into the Kickstarter goes such a long way to help out get new people into the tabletop world. So yeah.
Yeah. So Cameron, you're the artist on this. Now I had interviewed Colin on Go Fund This, where we talked all about the Kickstarter and got into real detail. So if you want to hear about it, definitely check out that show. It's Go Fund This, and I think it's the last or next to last show that I put up there. So we try to keep them real timely. There's only 3 days left to this Kickstarter, so you definitely want to listen through on that one and support it. But Cameron, you're the artist on this. One of the things that I talked about with Colin was how striking the art was. I was really found myself just digging through it on the Kickstarter page. You're primarily an artist, right?
Yes, that is actually what I went to college for. That is what my first degree is in. I got a bachelor's in fine arts in photography and multi-mixed media because this was still a little pre-computer. And we were doing a lot of darkroom chemistry at the time. So it was really, really crazy darkroom chemistry, wonderful, weird science. And so we used to do a lot of stuff like that. So I was really, really inspired by all of these really wonderful older photographers that had kind of pushed me through. Like a good example is a gentleman named Ernest Withers, and he did these amazingly wonderful candid street photography photos all over the South for about 60 years during the Civil Rights era. And I remember looking at his stuff, and it was the most intense, like amazingly thrilling artwork I had ever seen. There was also another one of Andre Serrano when he actually went and did the KKK project in the South. And he took these very, very serious portraits of these KKK members. And as a black man, for Andre Serrano to travel to the South and do this and getting to physically see these things as I was finding my art, like this was the art that was like hanging in the galleries in Fort Worth, and Robert Rauschenberg and Cindy Sherman, all of these wonderful artists, Carrie Mae Weems, Lorna Simpson, like these were the major influences that that my mentors brought to me and that I had when I was growing up. So it's this amazing like urban cultured street photography that took so many risks, like people that were above and beyond braver than I could ever be. And so a lot of my inspiration for art and why I should do art the way I do is from them, because I want to show skin texture and hair and proper proportions. I don't Photoshop proportions. I don't Photoshop shoulders, waist size, bust size, any of those things. And I rarely remove hair or adjust it. I try and keep the found art that I use for Axon Punk, or the photos of the team members that we've used, like the photos of Keisha for the cover, or the wonderful members of Sugar Gamers that posed for a lot of these. I want to keep them and take them out of their cyberpunk experience and making them as an artistic expression as I can, but also keeping their humanity within that and the things that make them beautiful within themselves. That's what I enjoyed the most. I'm so excited to do this one in color because it frees me up so much.
Well, I have to say the colors are really striking too.
I'm so proud because secret about me, I am partially colorblind, just like mildly. So this is a big fall into the rabbit hole. And so I'm getting these, I don't see the same colors you guys are seeing on the other end, especially when it comes to purples and pinks. So I am hoping that other people are experiencing this art. That's such a cool like double lens for me when I'm doing color, is because I know it looks different than the way I'm seeing it.
Which is funny because a couple of the pictures on the Kickstarter have predominant pink and purples in them.
Right? So this is one of those, like, Axon Punk is about diving in and facing fears and either limping away and knowing you survived or overcoming something. So for me, in a public setting, doing this was so scary to do color in production, especially representing this with my own face. But the purples and pinks are really important to me for a myriad of reasons, but also because it has this wonderful queer coding that I grew up with. And the purple and the pink and these particular colors, even though I know that vision, I don't see them as well as other people, but they code to me when I was growing up in the South, like going to high school and being queer was not something you could normally just straight up say. It was something that was said to you, not something you said. So, painting your nails pink or wearing a pink and black gothy skirt or something like that. These were little subversive things that we got to do while we were riding around on our skateboards in Arlington, Texas. That is a little bit of coding that I'm getting to add that like flair of color in that I feel super happy and comfortable doing. So there's that fear and that comfort that mimics the risk reward of Axon Punk.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
What a ramble, right?
No, it's good. And that's exactly why this new edition is so important to the game. Like, we love the original Axon Punk. It's great, but it was, it was published 3 years ago, started 5 years ago, and things have totally changed in many ways. And so having the comfort level to show the vulnerability and is just a huge part of it. And so that's why we wanted to strip a lot of things down and start fresh in many ways and really show it to the world in a very honest and vulnerable way. And we really appreciate the opportunity to do that.
Right. This opportunity is amazing because, like, when I was living in Texas, I recently moved in the last, year and a half back to Canada. And laws have changed and my living situation has changed. So that has allowed me a certain amount of privilege to express this without it having the negative impact that it possibly did or could have had, like it was in Texas. Because when I was living in Texas, if I was a published queer author, I could just legally lose my job. They could fire me for that immediately. And so in the first Axon Punk, there was a lot of hesitance to living in the South and what would happen by coding it too heavily. And we did code the first one as a lot, as much as I enjoyed coding and throwing in all of my little things, but I couldn't be as explicit as I wanted to be. And in this new edition, I get to be explicit with the colors. They get to be as fabulous and as loud as I want to be. I get to put Keisha straight on the cover.
Yeah, that's a great image.
Right? Like,
it really is.
But and she is front and center, and she's standing on her own, and she is good. Like, the pose is so proud, almost like a metal cover. Yeah. And I feel like I wanted her, in a golden light, just being herself, proud and casual, and to step back behind a curtain and let, her and the rest of the people like Elvery Peters and all these other people that have inspired me step front and let us, do what we're doing. Show the team.
I have a couple more questions here. One that I ask everybody. This is your dream convention because we're on a show where you're in an artist alley at a convention. Who would you be most excited to meet? And this is your dream convention. It can be anybody.
Okay, so I get to game with these people, right? So if I got to have a table with 4 crazy players, I would love, in any way, shape, or form, I would love to have Prince. I would love to have Prince roleplay a character in Axon Punk. I would love to have Prince and Snoop Dogg for sure, because he's such a fantastic actor and would just provide such a hilarious point. Plus, he could roll blunts, which, he's Snoop Dogg and it's amazing. So he can do whatever he wants. And I would love to have Snoop Dogg available for that. Another one would be Bus Driver. Which is another weird rapper kind of from my childhood. He's unbelievably hilarious and is arguably the fastest rapper that exists. So I think that his dialogue presentation would be so much fun to have him. Oh my gosh. And then this next one is a bit of a thirsty choice. I want Henry Cavill there with no shirt. And I want him to sit next to Snoop Dogg because I want them
that?
It's like Prince, Henry Cavill, Snoop Dogg, Bus Driver, and that's those are my 4 parties, and Henry Cavill should dress up like Conan the Barbarian.
Wow, you really swung for the fences with that one. That's great.
Right, everyone's got to be in outfits. I think Snoop Dogg should be the wizard. I think Bus Driver should be the thief, and I think Prince is whatever Prince feels like being at the time.
Sure.
Because I can't define Prince.
Right. Right. And it will probably be something that surprises you and doesn't fit in any box that you have checked there. Right.
He might be the best bard ever, though. It might just be too basic for Prince, but he could be amazing.
Yeah. You think? All right. That means, Colin, you're up.
All right. So I'll keep mine short. And so I think in our dream convention, bringing Axon Punk and doing it in full color and, really trying to do the justice that it deserves. I mean, I would really, I don't know if she comes to cons. I think she does a little bit of, I would love to meet Janelle Monáe and have her come, swing by the table and show her the book. And because really like seeing her perform live, like one of the things like, I got to see her like do some stage painting and things like that, and her use of colors and her creativity and things like that. And, this really wouldn't exist. I mean, maybe it would without her, but like it's, she was one of the people where I was just like, I want to make a shadow of kind of her brilliance. And just to thank her for all of the positivity that she's doing in the world, like for science, for women, for kids, for people of color. Like that's like the kind of stuff like Hidden Figures and things like that. That's the kind of positivity in the world of why I got into game design. And, trying to I feel like I get a lot of interesting traction doing little artist tables like this and 15-minute podcasts. That's how you can like change the world. You stack shit up. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Very cool. Great
Thanks,
answers,
Rob.
you guys. All right. Last thing. Give your social media. Where can people reach you?
Absolutely. So we have a few different nodes, but straight up for Axon Punk, find us at Axon Punk on Twitter. We also have a page on Facebook at Axon Punk, and you can find us there. We also have our central node Wrong Brothers things, and so you can find us at Wrong Brothers Gaming and on Facebook and Instagram. And then personally, Cameron and I both go on social media under the tag of our first name and underscore wrong. So you can find me for a lot of things of Colin, COLIN underscore wrong, WRONG, and Cam wrong, CAM underscore wrong. And those are a lot of our personal pages. And so we're trying to we do the brother thing, but we're also doing the solo thing. So get to know us as individuals, as a group. And we're trying to just be more available.
Great. Well, I will put all that in the show notes too, so it'll make it easy for people. But some people are auditory, some people are visual. So Now they have it in their heads. The other thing is I will make sure that I put a link to your Kickstarter in there. You've already achieved your first goal. You're well on your way to achieving more. So I encourage everybody to check it out and support this game. It's really cool. These are great guys, as you can tell. You really want to jump in there and support what they've got going. So thank you guys so much for being on.
Thank you so much, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you're putting in the work to help out the little guys out there, Rob. And so you at Southgate Media Groups has been really great for us, and we couldn't have done it without you. So keep on making the world a better place.
Such quality programming, too. Check out any of their podcasts. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You can find Alley Chats on Facebook by searching for @AlleyChats. You can also visit us at our webpage, smgpods.com/AlleyChats, for links to all our episodes and other cool stuff. One easy way to support our show is to rate and review Alley Chats wherever you listen to your podcasts. Those ratings really help us out and help others find our show as well. Alley Chats is produced and edited by Rob Southgate for Southgate Media Group. Be sure to subscribe to Alley Chats because you definitely don't want to miss an episode. Thanks again to our affiliate sponsors, Hunt-A-Killer and Tweaked Audio. Links to them are on our webpage and in the show notes. This wouldn't be possible without them. Our theme song is by Benny and the No Goods. Check out their awesome music at bennyandthenogoods.bandcamp.com. If you're an artist or writer or creative type that would have a table at an artist alley and would like to be on Alley Chats, message us through the Facebook page or email us directly at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com and we'll set up an interview. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with another fantastic show.